Hi, I'm Todd Henderson. Today I want to show you how to install the Low Pro QT on this 2016 and up body style Toyota Tacoma. Now this is the 5-foot bed, but it's the exact same install on a 6-foot bed. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is remove our tie-down cleats. Now what I'm going to show you how to do is install the passenger side rail. The driver's side rail will install the exact same way. Just take these tie-down cleats out. Next, we're going to locate our passenger side rail. Now, with a passenger side rail, you're going to have your tension adjuster up front, and in the back, you're going to have no trigger latch. If you have a trigger latch, that's the driver's side rail. Now, before we mount this onto the bed cap, we're actually going to want to put these brackets into our deck rail system. So what we need to do is we need to go ahead and take off the end cap off the end of the deck rail system and slide all 3 of the brackets in place. Now these have threaded holes in them. And what we're going to do is we're going to space them, one towards the front of the bed, one towards the center of the bed, and one towards the tailgate side. Next we're going to take our brackets. Now you're going to see this bracket is kind of a 90-degree, but it has a little tail at the end of it. And you've got an oval shaped hole down on the bottom end. You don't want to install them like this. You want to install with a tail underneath the deck rail system. And all we're going to do is we're going to line these up to the brackets we just slid into the deck rail system. And we're going to put them in there not quite finger tight. We want them to be able to wiggle around a little bit, and we want to be able to move them around. We're going to do that to all 3 of our brackets. The hardware we're using is going to be a hex head bolt with a large flat washer. All right, next we're going to go ahead and put our tie-down cleats back in place. We're going to put them in between our clamps, and we're going to reinstall our end cap into the end of the deck rail system. Okay, so here we have the passenger side rail. Now we're going to have a seal that goes to the inside edge of that passenger side rail that's going to go right up against the inside of the bed cap. Now you're going to notice it's got a little bit of a cutout at the back of the rail. The reason why is because the inside of this rail actually kind of flares in at the end, and so they've got the cutout to accommodate that. And you've also got a seal that sits on top of the bed cap as well. Now because of this flare out right here, it's kind of difficult to make a really great seal. I'm going to show you the standard installation, but if you want to get the best seal possible, I definitely recommend running a little bead of RTV type silicone along the bottom edge of this top seal before we set it into place. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the rail, line it up to the bed cap, and we're going to slide it down into place and then slide it forward until the rubber spacer block actually hits your bulkhead. Now, once this is in place, you should also have a 3/8 inch gap between the end of the rail and the tailgate as well. One other thing to point out, we've actually got a supplemental seal between the header bar and the bed cap. You can do that if you please. You can also fill that in with silicone if you like, whatever you think is best for your application. All right, so now here's our bracket. You'll notice we have a round hole in the bracket, and there's also a round hole in the bottom of the rail. What we're going to do is we're going to line those 2 holes up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push in on this and slide it over. It slides better that way. Once that's lined up, then we can take out of our kit and get our Phillips head bolt, run that down through from the top. And then we're also going to use the smaller washer and the nylock bolt or nylock nut. This is a 7/16 nut. So we're going to take a Phillips head screwdriver, hold it in place, 7/16 wrench or ratchet. We're going to go ahead and line up the other 2 brackets the exact same way. Next, holding the rail flat and level against the side of the bed cap, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and tighten down the brackets to the deck rail system. We use a 1/2 inch wrench or ratchet to do that. We're going to repeat the same process on the opposite side. All right, so now here is our tarp assembly. We've got a rubber flap that's coming off of that. That rubber flap is going to face towards the bulkhead, towards the cab of the truck. The header rail is actually going to sit right on top of the rail here. and then we've got these clamps. They're going to slide underneath the rail. So we just line it up. Once it's set in place, we simply lock it under each side. All right, now we're going to lift the cover up to get the Velcro free from the side rail and slide our Velcro all the way up. Make sure that's done on both sides. We can go ahead and unclip it and test the operation of the cover. Now with this particular cover, you can either close the tailgate up to the cover, or you can actually close the cover on top of the tailgate. Well, that concludes the installation. If you have any questions, call the experts. We're here to help you out.